From their athleticism and competitiveness, motherhood to the push for social justice and change, the women in the W never cease to amaze until it's time to fight for those charter flights. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, we've got you covered from courtside to the outside. This is the Hardwood 94. Let's tip off. Welcome to the Hardwood 94. I'm your host, Jackie Rae. Now, the playoff race is hotter than Death Valley in the summertime. So many teams are fighting just to make the playoffs, and there is a tight race for the #1 spot with the league's most intriguing franchises. Now, so far, 5 teams are qualified for postseason contention, but you know how the W can be. 1 minute you're in the club, and the next you could be standing outside looking in. It's so much going on. We don't know who the #1 seed is ultimately going to be at this point. Could it be the surging New York Liberty, or can the Las Vegas Aces hold it down long enough to get to the finish line? Get your popcorn ready, because this could go down to the wire, and I am here for both of these teams. Hell, I am not going to bore you with all these scenarios and analysis. You can get that somewhere else. But all I know
is on now.
Oh, yes, indeed it is. One of the most remarkable teams to make the playoffs is Napheesa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx. I doubted the Lynx worse than Ed Warner doubted Deion Sanders and Colorado last week, but sidebar, it was just one win. Deion, please dial it back a little bit. But as for the Lynx, you can't blame me for doubting them. I mean, let's be real. They started 0-6 on the season, but they managed to mount a comeback of epic proportion to battle it out in the postseason. The Connecticut Sun are locked into the #3 seed and could be a sleeper to return back to the WNBA Finals this year, led by Elisa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. They could also be the diabolical hater that spoils the Los Angeles Sparks and Chicago Sky's chances to make the postseason. The Sparks season and future of having any kind of hope of keeping Nneka Ogwumike ride on this final road stretch of the season. Remember, I've already said, free Nneka Ogwumike. And if this team, despite the severe losing and winning streaks at times throughout the season, still comes up short, well, the franchise will be more nervous than your coworker hoping that P-test comes back negative, because Nneka could fly the coop and move on to more championship opportunities. We shall see. Coming up, we'll break down the playoffs, and I'll give you my prediction on who takes it all in the W this year. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Aaliyah Boston, and you're watching the Hardwood 94.
Welcome back to the Hardwood 94. We are your go-to for getting to know players and coaches, no matter who they are. Even though the playoffs do not start until September 13th, clearly I'm ready for these showdowns. No, I did not wear silver this week like I went to the Beyonce concert, even though I didn't get an invite. I didn't get a ticket. Not from anybody. And some of y'all just assume I wasn't going to pay those ridiculous floor seat prices. And you would be right about that. But the fact is, you didn't even ask. And I'm hurt by that. But it's cool. Like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm going to be all right. But to show y'all how much I'm ready for these playoffs to begin, you see what I'm rocking. And I know y'all like this. Now, let's break this down. The first 2 seeds get a bye so the other teams can slug it out in order to get to the next round. Coming up, I will give you my WNBA Finals predictions on who will stand tall on that championship mountain, and is the league walking back charter flights? You don't want to miss this week's episode of Jackie Rae What You Say, so stay tuned. Well, here we are with my finals predictions for the WNBA on this crowning season. I gotta tell you, at the start of the season, I said the Aces were going to do something that is very difficult to do, and that is win back-to-back championships. But now I have to admit, I wanna say that they will do that, but I'm honestly not sure. We all know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Although they got off to an amazing start, right now the Aces seem to have no answer in the paint for Jonquel Jones without Candace Parker. A lot of us were hopeful that my GOAT would be back in time for the playoffs, but last week, Becky Hammon said Parker is still in a boot. I know the regular season is only 4 extra games this year, but That is not what players are used to. So we could be looking at a little bit of fatigue as well, not to mention every team in the playoff is going to be dying to knock off either the Liberty or the Aces. So it's really a tough call for me. But if I had to put money on it, and I'm frugal, so just so you know, I wouldn't be putting money on this. But if I did, I'm still going with the Las Vegas Aces. I think the Aces are very self-aware of their strengths and their weaknesses. They both have the talent. They have the talent and the coach to make it through this. And I'm not making any assumptions, but I think my sleeper cell is going to be the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut is third in defense and first in steals, both of which can swing the momentum in their favor in any given game. Plus, in the words of Alyssa Thomas, that team is hungry. I'm still going to stick with my Aces, but I'm telling you now, don't be surprised if the Sun sneak up and take it all. And now it's time for Jackie Rae, What You Say. Oh, I feel like this one's going to be a little bit redundant, right? Because we've talked about this over and over and over again. You've seen the players talk about this as well. When I've asked them, if you were commissioner for a day, what's the first thing you would change? All of them unanimously said charter flights. They need charter flights. I travel a lot. Some of it's for pleasure. Most of it, though, is for work. I'm 5'11", and flying economy and then having to get off a plane after being on a plane for hours at 5'11" and cramped, it's physical. It's physically exhausting. And so when you get off the plane and you start to do work as a journalist, it's tiring. So imagine how exhausting that is when you are way taller than me. Some of these players are 6'7", 6'6", 6'4". That's too tall to be on an economy flight. I can tell you that right now. But even though you can't get charter flights right out the gate, what did Cathy Engelbert did? At the beginning of the season, she went on this media tour and she told everyone she hears the players, she understands the players, she knows their needs and why they need charter flights. That's what she expressed very strongly. She understood the need for the charter flights. Can't do it right now, but what we can do is make sure you get those charter flights in the postseason. She was very proud of that, and now all of a sudden, it's being walked back. So now what it is you can fly. It's an either or situation. You can either fly to your destination on a charter flight or you can fly back, but you can't do both. So one of those has to be a regular commercial flight that, again, is very uncomfortable. And I think that's wrong for several reasons. Number one, there is no real reason given for why you're walking this back. Now, we can all assume it's an economic reason, but you didn't give a reason. And when you're taking away something from the players that you already know is very important to them, you have to provide a reason, because otherwise it just looks like it's a slap in the face. So that's number one. You shouldn't have done this. And then if you did do it, provide a very substantial reason. That's number one. Number two, the players need to understand they hold all the power when it comes to the WNBA. We watch the WNBA because of them. They've expressed time and time again that they need this so they can be their best self. So when you're talking about playoffs, what are you talking about? You want to see everybody's level of play level up. You want to see elite players on the court. But now you're saying, hey, we know we want you to be elite, but we're gonna put obstacles in front of you. That makes it harder for you to be at your best. That's not right. Because you've already promised them that this is the time that they need to shine, and you've promised that you're going to help them do that, and now you're snatching it back from them. That is wrong. It is wrong on every single level. But I'm telling you right now, our history has proven to us that nothing in this world changes unless people take a stand. The players need to take a stand. I don't know what that is. But if I had to make a suggestion, I would say, you know what? We're not playing in the playoffs until you say we're getting charter flights for the playoffs. I know that's a big leap, and I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, they can't. I read their CBA though. There's nothing that would prevent them from doing that. And there's clearly nothing that prevents Cathy Engelbert from saying one thing and doing another. There has to be recourse. There has to be repercussions when you do people like this. This is a slap in the face. This is wrong. I am 100% on the player side. With that as well, the CBA expires in 2027. They have an opportunity to opt out in 2025. They really need to strongly consider this. It's about respect, too. This is a disrespectful move to promise me one thing and then snatch it away. I'm not a child. I'm a grown-up. You can't just walk it back like this on me. Cathy owes everyone in the league an apology, especially those who are making it to the playoffs, because they had something to look forward to, a break from this exhausting travel that you are subjecting them to. This is wrong on every single level. Players, whatever you decide to do to change this, we are going to stand with you. Just know that. The fans love you. We understand what you're going through. We're going to stand with you. So do what you do, but you need to make a stand. right now. And that's Jackie Rae. What you say? I know y'all see I'm still rocking the jersey. I'm still super excited about the playoffs right now, but that is our show for season 1. Thank you so much for tuning in every week and taking this run with us. Enjoy the playoffs, and we will see you on the other side of the court for the WNBA Finals and season 2. I'm your host, Jackie Rae. This is the Hardwood 94. Thank you for rocking with us. We'll see you next season.